ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Banter podcast. We're here on a Friday night bringing you some Banter action. I'm Brennan Kirkpatrick. I'm joined alongside Korey and Kyle Pritchard. Guys, how are you doing tonight?
Good.
That's it.
I was gonna say I'm a whole lot different from Korey right now. I'm ready to just dunk through this thing. I'm ready to get
ready to
points.
slam. This is gonna be like prime Shaq and Kobe, like that
Absolutely.
meme. Korey and Kyle.
Hold on a second.
Oh, there we go.
I don't know why you felt the need to do that, but
Brennan, you get up, Kyle. I'll throw the alley-oop to you.
There we go. You got to do it now. Let's go.
All right.
Let's go, Kyle.
Right.
Let's see.
Boom! Emphatic slam there by
he
Kyle.
gets it.
Let's
They understand the criteria for today, but for our viewers who don't know what that is, both of them have to try and reach 10 agreements from the questions I ask them, and they can get an agreement right off the bat if they have the same answer, and then they'll have a minute to talk it out, explain why they came to that answer. If they disagree, they're each going to get 35 seconds to explain their case, and then they'll have a minute 30 to discuss and kind of reach a compromise, get one person, try and convince the other. You've seen how it goes if you've watched, but yeah, that's pretty much how it works. Like I said, 10 agreements in a 25-minute time span. If they don't get 10 agreements in that 25 minutes, they'll go to the speed round, which I completely forgot before I recorded this, but remembered just in time for recording, and now it is prepared. So we're chilling there, but
this is good. What the speed round is going to be. Let's hope it's
y'all. You don't know what it's going to be, but
Kyle, did you get an inside scoop on what it was? Dang it!
Not.
No,
I didn't. So yeah. Anyways, we're gonna go here, and we're gonna go to the first question on the board here, and let's talk about Davante Adams and the NFL. So just a simple question out there. What team should look to go out and acquire Davante Adams? And your 25 minutes starts now. Okay, different answers here. Korey, I'm going to let you go first.
Okay, so I said the Chargers. Right now the Chargers are 2-2, and they can theoretically win some games this season because they have a really weak division, even though they are not that good. Their wide receiver depth chart right now is Josh Palmer, Quentin Johnson, and Ladd McConkey. If they get Davante Adams, then I mean the ceiling is the roof for them. You know they can go crazy if they have Davante Adams because I mean he's the receiver that can change everything. Justin Herbert is looking like a bad quarterback right now. One of the lower completion rates in the NFL among starters. So everything goes better for the Chargers if they get him.
All right, and Kyle.
All right. So strange euphemism aside, I don't think the Raiders would trade in the division. I saw that Chiefs might want to trade from. That's not going to happen. I said the Steelers because, look, I'm a Steelers fan, and I kind of wanted to speak from the heart here. They need another receiving threat. I do love George Pickens a whole lot. I love Calvin Austin. But they need someone who can stretch the field and just catch deep bombs. And this would be the biggest trade the Steelers have done in like half a decade. I think back to the Minka Fitzpatrick trade. They needed – because I think they're winning – good football games, and they're playing close football games with Justin Fields. If they get another receiving threat, and the offensive line get healthy, then they could be a very good offense going down the road here.
All right, now let's discuss.
Look, I'm going to make this real simple for you. The question was which team needs to go out and trade for Davante Adams. Do you think that the Chargers need a quality wide receiver more than the Steelers do?
It's about even, I would say. It's about dead even. I think, honestly, look, you brought up the receiving core for the Chargers, and I think actually...
You like McConkey? I was going to say, like McConkey.
Okay start to the season.
He's been doing all right. He's their best receiver right now.
Looking at the receiving core, it definitely is one of the worst in the league. I can give you that. But I think with the new acquisition of Harbaugh, I forget which Harbaugh it is, they've been running the damn ball a whole lot more, and that might be because that's what they did at Michigan, and they're kind of just transitioning that into the actual NFL now. They've run the ball a whole lot more, and they've been running the ball well.
To me, I'm just saying that I think they would receive more benefit in terms of improving from where they are now than the Steelers would by getting them. Because, I mean, Again, Justin Herbert is not looking that great. He's got under a 65% completion rate, just about 7 yards per completion. And I mean, that's not great. If you get one of the best receivers from elsewhere in your division to your team, then you easily are the second best team in your division by far in that situation. And I think they would just be a lot better than they are now, whereas the Steelers wouldn't improve by nearly as much. So, though it may be a more likely situation for the Steelers to get them, I think the Chargers
there's more room to grow for the Chargers than there is Steelers. The Steelers have been stagnant for the last 12 years. I don't see a scenario where it happens though. I think it's a lot more reasonable that the Steelers would land him. I'm not saying that the Chargers are not actively maybe seeking him out, but I'm saying there's no way on earth they're trading him within the division. So definitely not the Chiefs, definitely not the Chargers.
So you disagreeing there, Kyle? Sounds like you are.
Also, I'm just speaking from the heart. I think they should go out and get them the Steelers.
All right, and that is disagreement number 1. Not that we keep track of them here, but that is the case. Anyways, next question, we're going to talk about another player who was traded, and it's Karl Anthony Towns, traded to the New York Knicks. So who was the biggest winner of this cat trade? Who was the question, I believe.
What?
Okay. I mean, I said who, the Knicks, that's an answer right there. So you're good. And Korey waiting on his answer. It's a little bugged out on the screen right here. Hopefully that doesn't translate over.
Exactly what's happening here.
To the thing. Well, we'll see. He's back after his his computer crashed or something.
All right, Korey, how we doing?
I'm doing great.
All right, we're good, so we can hear him.
We asked the Karl Anthony Towns question if you didn't hear.
All right.
So
all right.
You can have your answer.
So I think is that.
I don't know what Kyle said. I have no idea what Kyle said.
All right, we'll give you 35 seconds, but I'm pretty sure it is an agreement. So Kyle,
that's actually part of my answer, but am I first?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So I think this is an easy slam dunk pick, for the Knicks. I think this is just completely breaks open the gates where I think they are a top 3 roster in the NBA right now. I think only Boston is better and maybe OKC are teams that I put above them. I think their biggest need was a healthy big. Julius Randle obviously was hurt the second half of the year, and we don't know how well he's going to play in the playoffs. And that Boston Mitchell Robinson is hurt currently, so the injury concerns were big there, and they needed a big man that could shoot the 3. That needed to have some good spacing, and that's exactly what they get with Karl Anthony Towns.
All right, so I wouldn't go as far as saying that they're a top 3 roster in the NBA, but I do like this look for the Knicks. Particularly, I said the biggest winner is their spacing, because, I mean, for better or for worse, Towns is not going to be filling the void that Hartenstein left in terms of offensive rebounding, not even the void that Julius Randle leaves there, nor is he going to be a system offensively the way that Julius Randle is. What he is going to be is he's going to be a reliable shooter from the outside, a guy who can space the floor. If they want to do 5 wide, they can, and he's also a good defender down the stretch, and he can match up with better, taller guys, which Randle couldn't have done. So in terms of spacing, this improves their opportunities defensively and offensively for the Knicks.
All right, let's see. So you guys pretty much agree. So this should be quick here, but Kyle, is there anything you want to add on?
With everything that was just said there, I think this just, I don't know why Minnesota would. Aside from money, I don't understand why Minnesota would do this, because I think they've kind of just shut case what worked for them so well last year.
Yeah, I really hope this doesn't crush their team a lot. I mean, I don't think it will. I could see some exciting basketball coming if they do like an Edwards lineup and a Randle lineup, because, I mean, again, Julius Randle, people sleep on him in a lot of ways. He's a capable guy to run an offense by himself. He averages about 6 assists a game, 25 points. I mean, this is a capable basketball player. If they want to run an Edwards lineup, run a Julius Randle lineup, that can create some excitement. It's just, I feel like the Timberwolves played so fluidly last year that I don't know why they would mess with it. But this is a great get for the Knicks. Their perimeter looks great. Perimeter defense looks great from Mikal Bridges, and their perimeter offensively looks great because, again, now they can go 5 wide and without really needing that offensive presence. And if they want to have a good offensive rebounding center, they've got Mitchell Robinson if he gets healthy.
All right.
The start of next year, I think, or the start of calendar year.
Yeah,
we're agreeing on that.
December, January. So
the Knicks as a whole, their spacing, whatever called the instant title contenders.
They might win. They might win it this year. We'll see.
I would love that. That would be awesome. But I don't think they will. But they're contenders.
Yeah, got to stay healthy if you're the Knicks. But anyways, let's move on to Major League Baseball. The playoffs started a couple days ago. All the wild card rounds are done as of recording this. So let's go here to the first question. Out of all the remaining teams in the playoffs, who is the scariest right now in a good way?
Yeah, we agree, Kyle.
Yes,
all right.
Let's go, baby.
A minute to talk it out.
Yeah, easily the Padres. The Padres ended the regular season really well, and then they played a solid Braves team that also ended their season well. They're 7-3 in their last 10 games, and I mean, the Padres beat them. So the Padres are looking great, and they're going against a team which is going to be a little caught off guard in the Dodgers. Shohei Ohtani, no playoff experience, so they may not be as ready. Whereas the Padres are red hot.
And the Padres are there offensively. They are just on fire. I saw that their catcher had 2 home runs in the series against the Braves. It was really impressive. And I understand that the Dodgers, their pitching is kind of hurt right now, so that could be a factor. The fact that the Padres' offense is firing all cylinders, and the Dodgers are struggling a little bit. That's the one area where they are struggling with the pitching. So all these series though are going to be super exciting. We have 3 interdivisional series in the divisional series, which makes sense. But
yeah, I mean,
I'm very excited.
Momentum is all in the favor of wild card teams always. They always have more momentum because they didn't have to take a break. And I mean, that's why we've seen more wild card World Series finalists in the last few years. So.
Yeah. I was going to put the Tigers, but I thought that was too crazy of a scary team. Although I do like them.
They're playing well. They're playing very well, and they stack up very well against the Guardians. So, anyways, we're moving on here. Let's go to college football. So there was a lot of shakeup this week in college football for like bigger games, smaller games. Ole Miss lost. Alabama beat Georgia. So who do you think is the new favorite to take home the national championship now?
Yeah. Okay,
all right. You guys both agree.
Yeah. I don't know if this is necessarily new.
No, this is not a new favorite for me. It's Texas.
Yeah.
Not new, but you know what I mean.
Even with the quarterback injuries, the answer is Texas, by the way. Even with quarterback injuries, they've remained steadfast. They beat the brakes off of UL Monroe. They beat Mississippi State. Maybe not as good as they should have, but they still beat them pretty well. That Michigan win is looking 1,000 times better now. The better wins that Michigan is getting. They had beat Minnesota pretty close. Had the good win against USC. But yeah, I mean, I don't really see – they might struggle against Oklahoma, but aside from that, I don't really see –
I don't think they will struggle against Oklahoma. I mean, if you look at their team last year, I mean, people may be a little bit worried by the fact that they didn't blow out Mississippi State for whatever reason. But, I mean, that was never really the identity of the Longhorns last year either, and they had a great season the whole way through. I mean, they did lose to Oklahoma last year, so maybe I'll be eating my words after next week. But I really like the Longhorns. They've got 2 great quarterback options, honestly, and I mean their defense is always solid. This is a well-built team. I don't know why Alabama is number 1, even though that was one of the most exciting. College football games.
I have not sent you guys my poll this week, but I do have Alabama 1 because that's the best win so far.
That was a really exciting game, but I mean I think you're a little too hasty if you think that Alabama is going to win solely because of that game.
No, sure. But I mean, look, number 1 in the country does not necessarily.
It can fluctuate. Agreed.
They're going to win the whole thing.
Agreed.
Yeah.
All right. Anyways,
we'll see.
Moving
on.
I
Texas too.
Moving on here, we're going to go back to the NBA, your favorite sport. For you two over here. We're going to go to the second question I have here, and it's about the offseason moves. So we talked about cap being traded, but we're going to go more generic offseason moves here. And which one has the potential to go horribly wrong for a team? Okay, so I'm going to let Korey go first here. 2 different answers. Let's see if we can reach an agreement.
Okay, so I say the Houston Rockets trade Brooklyn's 2025 and 2026 first-round picks back to them. So the Rockets have been drafting really, really well the past few years, and I guess the organization just kind of decided that they were done drafting, and if they wanted to get new players, then they would be getting them specifically from the Phoenix Suns. So they got all of their capital, all of the Phoenix Suns capital from Brooklyn, and in return gave Brooklyn their best picks back. And that's all right, except the problem is that now Brooklyn can tank and easily get Cooper Flagg first pick in this next draft. And if that happens and Houston doesn't end up going out to get a Kevin Durant or a Devin Booker from Phoenix, this trade will look awful in the next few years.
All right, and Kyle going a little more current
the Rockets
here.
fan about telling me you're a Rockets fan. I said Klay Thompson to Dallas, and look, I'm a big fan of Klay Thompson, but obviously we had the really bad performance that his last game as a Warrior. I think he didn't shoot a single three really successfully in that last game, and I don't know. They moved on for Derek Jones Jr. for Klay Thompson, which maybe in the year of our Lord is maybe I wouldn't say it's an upgrade. Again, at his best, this would be like a slam dunk pick. But he's 34. He's had the leg injuries that have kind of hurt him the last few years, and you can believe this into the time here. But like Luka and Kyrie are not known for their defense, and neither is Klay. So we'll see.
That is not true.
Well
Klay Thompson is known for his defense.
Again, for his age, and look, Korey, just go ahead, Korey. If you're that steadfast about this,
I'm not that steadfast. I'm just saying, don't discredit Klay Thompson defensively. I think Klay Thompson is 100% an upgrade over Derek Jones Jr. That's kind of a crazy thing to say. This could go wrong, but I don't think it'll make the Mavericks worse no matter what. I don't think they lost enough for this trade to make them worse. The reason why I say the Rockets trade, and yes, I am a Rockets fan, but if you look at all of the monumental failure trades of the past decade, you're looking at Brooklyn trading away their picks to Boston. You're looking at the Sixers drafting Markelle Fultz and giving away Jason Tatum to the Celtics. Those are the trades that you look back at and you're like, whoa, this is a trade that screams that is what this is going to be if things do not go right for Houston. Because Brooklyn now has their future in their hands for these next 2 years. They get their 2025 pick and 2026 pick, and they can choose to tank and immediately capitalize on those. And that's something that Houston just gave them for free.
Admittedly, those trades are a lot worse in hindsight. I can tell
and that's what I'm saying. This has the most potential to look really bad.
And look,
this could go really bad. If Cooper Flag becomes the greatest player of all time, I think people will agree that this was a bad trade.
I just personally think, look, I think I'm going to agree with you here, but I think what Dallas hurt on the most toward the end of the season in the playoffs is that they kind of let the game get away with them. If you remember last year, games 1, 2, 4, and for the finals, they couldn't.
And you think Klay Thompson? You think Klay Thompson hurts that? You think one of the best 3-point shooters in history hurts that? If you're saying the game gets away, the way you get that is through quick scoring. Threes are better than twos, man. Derek Jones Jr.
In his last NBA game, he certainly
agreed, but I don't think he makes them worse. I refuse to believe that.
I'm not saying it makes them better though.
We'll see.
Personally, but I think. Yeah, I think
this has the potential to be disastrous.
All right,
but it has more of the potential to be a bad offseason move because I think Cooper Flag is going to be. I mean, he's going to be up there in 3 years in the league, I would bet.
But nobody will care whenever the Rockets win the championship in 2 years. So.
All right, and then let's go here. Agreement number 4 reached. Let's go back to the NFL. So we're a quarter of the season is already done, which is crazy to think about how time flies like this. But we're going to go here and give some MVP credit to the first half, the September Warriors here. So who is your MVP through a quarter of the season so far? All right, both very solid answers. Both players having great years. I'm going to let Kyle go first on this one, though.
Okay, look, I got to give flowers where flowers due. Darnold's killing it right now. And look, he has the most touchdowns in the league, and he's played one less game than Baker, who I think he's tied for. They're undefeated, which is no one thought after they had to play San Francisco and they had to play Houston, and they just played the Green Bay on the road. No one thought that they would win all of those games consecutively. You really just had to give the flowers where they're due because going into this, they thought, oh, JJ is probably going to be the starter, and he got hurt, so it's okay, I guess it's just kind of a sack fly season here, and he's just doing tremendous ball. And I don't think it'll stay for that long. I really doubt that he will win the MVP, but I love what I'm seeing.
All right, and Korey, go ahead.
Okay, so Sam Darnold is keeping a really good system together. They've got a lot of weapons, and he's keeping them together, which, again, flowers where flowers are due. The difference here is that Jaden Daniels, my pick, he is their system. All of their offensive success is really coming from them right now. He's got Daniels has the best completion rate of all quarterbacks in the league, at 82.7%. He's tied for fourth in yards per catch, 8.5%. Darnold is 68.9% in terms of completion rate, and he has 8.8 yards per catch, so a little bit higher because he's got better receivers at his disposal. But Jaden Daniels also has the second most rushing touchdowns in the league with 4, and that's among any rushers. He has the second most rushing yards among quarterbacks. This guy is the system. He's looking great for the Commanders right now, who are 3-1.
Darnold is in a little bit of the system too, but I absolutely think Jaden Daniels is surefire offensive rookie of the year right now, right?
Yeah, and I don't know if he'll stay on MVP track. That's what I'm saying. But right now, I would totally give it to him over Darnold. I understand dude. You really got to look at these numbers and you got to look at the impact. I mean, again, 4-0. Undefeated for the Vikings, but 3-1 is not too far behind. It's about as close as you can be without getting to 4-0. So and it really, I think this all boils down to Jaden Daniels. I've seen people argue that Justin Jefferson should be MVP right now. If you've got multiple MVP candidates technically on your team, then you're not as much of an impact as Jaden Daniels is coming in as a rookie, building this team from the ground up. I think it's just awesome what he's done.
When was the last time a rookie won MVP? I think that's cool. Look, and I'm not saying he would be in the short list of people I would consider right now. I think he certainly is. I just think we're getting a little too hasty right now. I don't think this is not my prediction of who is going to win it. This is not my prediction. This would, if the season ended today, this would be my vote, and I don't think I can budge on it. Look, I love the way Daniels is playing right now. I just think
I respect your decision on that too. It's just
when you look at the history of teams that have MVPs on them, they're consistently good at all facets of the game right now. The Minnesota defense,
82.7% completion rate, one of the second most rushing yards of any quarterback.
Sure, but when was the last time?
That's my problem with you on this show, Kyle. You're always looking back to history like, oh, this has never happened before. This has never happened before. It doesn't mean it shouldn't happen. Right now, Jaden Daniels is playing amazing football. You got to give him his credit.
A lot of good players, but personally, he's easily offensive rookie of the year right now.
Yeah,
I don't know how anyone catches up to him, but MVP is maybe giving a little too many flowers.
But why? Why is it too many flowers?
Because he's a rookie, man.
That's a stupid reason. That's
Kyle,
a stupid reason, Kyle.
Are you disagreeing here, Kyle?
Yeah, he totally disagrees with me.
We're done here.
I'm just telling you, that's a stupid reason saying, oh, he's a rookie. What? Who cares? You said that with Wembanyama last year, too. Said that with Wembanyama. You're like, I can't say he's a top 20 player in the league. Why? Why not?
He's played a year. I feel fine saying that.
That's ridiculous.
Right.
That's a ridiculous.
Anyways.
All right, continue.
Let's move on here. Let's stay in the realm of football, but go back to college football. So we all know Florida State's been pretty clear and obvious the most disappointing team so far this season. But who is the second most disappointing team behind them?
I can be swayed. Okay. Let it be known.
All right.
No, correction. There we go.
Okay. There we go. All right,
I accidentally pressed enter.
All right. Korey, you go
Oklahoma
first.
Okay, Oklahoma State was my choice. Big 12 boy over here. And Kyle also picked a Big 12 team, so that makes my job a lot easier. But Oklahoma State won the Big 12 last season. Right now, they're not looking that great. Their quarterback, Alan Bowman, is not looking like a really great quarterback. And their system is Ollie Gordon running from the rushing attack. And he's had like 80 rushing yards the last 2 games here. And because of that, they lost to Utah, lost to Kansas State. Utah is not an unbeatable team either. They just lost to Arizona. So, Oklahoma State, if they want to be contenders in the Big 12, they should be showing that they can beat these teams. And for them to lose to 2 of them back-to-back, that is a disappointing start to the season. They're going to have an uphill battle against West Virginia this week.
And Kyle, Rock Jock.
You see best case. Can I say Oklahoma State was second for the Big 12. Texas won last year. I have the Kansas Jayhawks personally. I never thought they were going to win the Big 12, but they were certainly going to contend and beat down the teams that are similarly close to them. Like I think like an Oklahoma State, like a Kansas State. I thought they were going to at least compete, but they have been flat entirely. They have one win right now, and that's against Lindenwood. That was a D2 school 2 years ago. They lost to Illinois, which admittedly is looking like a better loss because now they actually went in Nebraska when they're actually a solid football team. They had the UNLV loss, which was super close, ended up being short there. The last second WU game, that hurts them a whole lot after leading the game for a majority of that right there. Again, I didn't think that they were going to win the whole Big 12, but they certainly would have contended. But we can talk about Oklahoma State here.
Yeah, I mean, the interesting theme between these two teams is that their game-changing game in determining whether or not they can have a successful season or not comes against the West Virginia Mountaineers. Kansas already had theirs, and they lost it. And I think that really shapes up what their season is going to look like. This is a disappointing season. If Oklahoma State loses to West Virginia, I think it's the same thing. But I'll give them another week. I'll see how they do against WVU. Right now, I do think Oklahoma State absolutely disappointing because they had higher expectations. They had a player with some of the most high expectations in college football as a whole. And within the Big 12, Oklahoma State had more expectations than Kansas. But Kansas is looking like a much worse team. So I can agree with you on Kansas.
Okay. I think Oklahoma State, those two losses were not great at all. They ended up playing close to Utah. Got close, but they didn't quite finish it. And then K-State, I think they got blown out by them. So are we agreeing on Kansas here?
Yeah, I'll agree on Kansas.
All right. That is an agreement.
I don't think anyone thought that they would have
Jayhawks.
one win through 5 weeks.
You would hope. One would hope.
Yeah. Definitely been very disappointing so far. We're going to go back to Major League Baseball here because for our final question. Do you guys want the second question I have or the third question I have for Major League Baseball? Which one, y'all? You feeling here?
Second.
Second? All right. Perfect. So we'll go to the second one then. So we're going to talk about teams who missed the playoffs. So what MLB team who missed the playoffs needs to have the offseason of a lifetime to get back to the dance? And let's see their answers here. Kyle and Korey. Okay, two different answers.
Both pretty funny.
Both teams that played in the World Series last year. So I'm going to let Korey go first on this one.
All right, so I said the Texas Rangers because, I mean, they have, I think, of the teams that missed, they have the most work to do to get back to where they need, where they were. I mean, they won the World Series last year. This is a huge drop-off in terms of that. Other teams, you're looking at the Diamondbacks, they were pretty close. And, I mean, in terms of record, it wasn't like the Rangers were too far off. But, I mean, that's a significant drop. I mean, 78 and 84, you're falling under 500. I think you've got voids to fill defensively of all things in baseball. It's very interesting, and I think they need to get some acquisitions out there in the offseason.
And Kyle, go ahead.
I think we can come to agreement here because whenever I heard Brennan say the question, I don't know if you can look back. Actually, you saw me grimacing. I was like, maybe it's not the best answer to this. I said the Diamondbacks. I understand that they were quite literally a game away from the playoffs, but they shouldn't have been at any point. I think they should have stayed consistent, sort of stayed steadfast. But like the pitching was not great at the end of the year. I think they ended up 27th in the league in ERA. They obviously had the great hitting from Ketel Marte, Corbin Carroll, first baseman Christian Walker. We're going to see if they can sign him back. But I think we can just talk about this here. I think it's really funny. It's the first time since 2006 or 7 since both teams that went to the World Series and missed the playoffs the next year. And I think it's a lot more telling that the Rangers were completely out of it.
Yeah. I think so too. Because, I mean, at the end of the day, the Diamondbacks were a wild card team last season. I mean, they did barely miss the wild card this year. The one thing I'll say is, I mean, behind the scenes banter ball here, one of the questions that was going to be asked many weeks back that never was what team coming out of the All-Star break do you think is going to boom the most? And I would have said the Diamondbacks there because I thought they were primed to go on a little bit of a tear toward the end. And for them to lose all of their momentum, go 5-5 just to end the regular season, kind of a disappointing way to end it. But at the end of the day, I mean, if they run it back with a similar roster and things just go a different way, then they can get back to the wild card and they can surge for the playoffs again because they have experience. The Rangers falling under 500, huge disappointment.
A whole lot more pieces away.
Yeah, they got things to do. I don't think they can't do it, but I think they got more work to do.
Maybe should have been in the playoffs if the games weren't rescheduled.
Yeah.
So. Yeah.
All right.
So Rangers.
Agreeing on the
After
Texas
all that,
Rangers.
no Diamondbacks.
Rangers. All right. So that leaves you guys with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 agreements. So you need 4 to get this. So since the MLB playoffs did start, we're going to take a look back at the preseason betting odds of teams that were projected to make the postseason, and you're just going to have to guess them in the correct order. So for 2 leagues here, I'll give you like 5 minutes. You're going to guess which teams, and I have them seeded based off of actual playoff seeding. So division winners are top 3, and then the wild card teams, okay? Because there were some wild card teams that had better odds to make the playoffs than some of these other teams. So 6 teams from each league. Give me the projected betting playoff seeding based off of these betting odds from the preseason. And your 5 minutes.
Start of this season?
Start of this season. So like preseason, spring training. These were the betting odds going into the season for the teams to make the postseason.
So I would think.
Go now. Your time started.
Can we think first and then say our answers, or what?
Yeah, I'm giving you guys 5 minutes.
Yeah,
okay. So I would think the NL West would be the Dodgers.
I think Dodgers are locked to be the top in terms of. I mean, this is betting odds, so this is very straightforward. There aren't going to be any sneaky picks here.
No. I would imagine. So you reseeded it for the spots.
I reseeded it. Yeah, I reseeded it for the actual playoffs. So it's the top 3 teams from each division. So the AL East, NL East, then the Central.
I think Central. I think Central might have been the Cardinals.
I was going to say the Cardinals. I don't.
Oh, and you get a point based off of which ones are like correct in order too, just to make it a little bit harder.
Okay, well,
say Dodgers are. So one
Dodgers won
in the NL
in the National League.
2.
What did you say?
I like Phillies too.
Phillies 2.
Yeah,
I
2
agree.
minutes.
I
or not 2 minutes, 4 minutes.
I say Dodgers 1, Phillies 2, and then it's division, right? You got the top 3 seeds,
yes.
Right? So and then I say Cardinals 3. Can you take that, Kyle? Okay, Brennan, do we get 3 points in the?
Can we just plug in those 3 right now?
Yeah.
You just want to plug in those.
Can
3.
we get 3 points here?
So would you say who was 1?
Dodgers.
I'll give you a point there.
Phillies.
That is not a point.
And then we had Cardinals 3.
And that is also not.
Okay, so maybe those were flipped.
Oh, you know what? Atlanta may have been 2.
You think so?
Yeah. We're thinking too much about right now instead of at the beginning of the year.
So do we want to say? So do we want to say Phillies top wild card?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
All right, Phillies top wild card.
That is a point.
Whew. Okay.
Those were the 4.
Good call on the Braves. All right. Do you want to try to guess the other 2?
Cardinals.
Diamondbacks second wild card.
Yeah. Go
ahead. All right. Is that your answer?
Yeah.
All right. Diamondbacks were the second wild card.
Good. And then last one. Who are we looking at? We looking at Cardinals. Well, maybe the Cardinals were the 2nd seed and the Braves were 3. I don't know, man. I kind of want to just stay away.
I think we need to pivot.
Do you want to? But let's get one more guess here. Let's get one more guess in the National League. Do you want to say Brewers? Brewers, last wild card.
Last wild card, you're locking in Brewers?
Yeah.
You should have gone with the Cardinals.
Ooh,
because
it was
that's
Cardinals.
What it was.
Okay, damn. Okay, American League.
All right. American League.
Was Atlanta the NL East?
Atlanta was the NL East, and the NL Central was the Chicago Cubs.
The Cubs. Okay, the Cubbies. All right. American League.
Oh, you guys have a minute and 40 seconds.
Was it the Rangers? I don't know, man. Like in the American League, I don't know.
I think New York's.
Do you think it's Yankees? You think it's Yankees? Maybe Baltimore.
No, there's no way.
All right, yeah, you're right. Betting odds. Yankees.
There's no way.
Yankees won. That is not correct.
Whoa! Damn it, Kyle. I knew it. No. I don't know, man. The American League is a lot harder.
Oh, can I re-guess AL?
You already guessed them. You already guessed one, and then you said the Yankees and got them wrong. So
Can I re-guess the top seed?
you can for no point.
I'm gonna re-guess Houston.
Really? You think?
Maybe that was probably who it was.
I don't think so, man.
Think.
You guys have 30 seconds.
Okay, if you think that, do you want to put Yankees 2 then, Kyle? Yeah, Yankees 2.
Guardians 3. Send it.
So you said Yankees 2, Guardians 3?
Yes.
Could be Minnesota.
This is so wrong.
So you should have gone with Minnesota because that's who the 3 seed was. However,
Yankees 2, so we win.
The Yankees were the 2 seed, so you
Woo, okay.
So there you go.
All right.
So in
Astros were 1.
The Astros were 1.
Damn.
Astros were 1. So in the National League, the Dodgers were 1, the Braves were 2, Cubs were 3, Phillies 4, Diamondbacks 5, and then the Cardinals were 6. And then in the American League, the Astros were 1, Yankees were 2, Twins were 3, Baltimore was 4, the Mariners were 5, and then the Rangers were 6.
Baltimore 4.
And that was
teams. Wow.
Yeah, that was supposed to be a good division this year. But yeah, anyways, that's going to conclude our episode of the Banterball podcast today. Thank you all for watching. Make sure to follow our socials, even though they've been lacking really bad as of late. I've been busy, beyond busy, with other socials. So yeah, but make sure you go follow them anyways, because we're still posting Kyle's top 25 polls on Instagram. So if you go follow that, go follow to see that, because those are always pretty good. So yeah, thank you all for watching, and we will see you next time.